Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are obviously doing a bridal look. I am doing my own wedding makeup. I get married in like 82 days, I think, 83 days. So it's getting close and I decided that I need to start figuring out what makeup look I'm gonna do because I don't want to save it till the day of trying to figure that out. Like I want to know exactly what I'm doing. And I want to try out a few different looks because the problem with me is I am a glam girl, okay? This is like a very normal makeup look for me, like if I'm going on a date. Like this isn't like an abnormal amount of makeup for me. So it's hard for me to feel like super special with a full face of makeup because I'm just so used to wearing a full face of glam makeup. So I'm trying to figure out what look I want to do for my wedding day because obviously on my wedding day I want to feel confident and beautiful and feel like the best I've ever felt. So this is a look that we came up with today. I walked you guys through it and showed you exactly what I did. So if you are interested in seeing how to achieve this very glam bridal look, then just keep watching. Okay, let's get started on the eyes. So to prep my eyes, I'm going to be using the P. Louise base because we're also going to be using P. Louise eyeshadows, and I just feel like we got to use both of them together. So I love these bases. This is Rumor 1 and Rumor 3, and we're going to mix these guys together to create my perfect base. And I really make sure I bring it into this inner corner because I want to brighten up that area as well. Okay, now that my eyes are primed, I'm going to use a little bit of a translucent powder just to set them down just a little bit. You don't have to do this with this particular eye base. You can just go right in with shadow, but I just like to make sure my eyeshadow is not going to skip at all. So I like to just have like a nice even base that isn't too wet. So the star of the show is going to be this eyeshadow palette by P. Louise. This is the Wedding Wish XL palette. I got this specifically for my wedding. I saw it on TikTok and I was like, oh my god, I need that. Like I absolutely need that eyeshadow palette. It is the most beautiful bridal palette and I wanted a new, fun, and exciting palette that I haven't used before that I could use on my wedding day. So I will 100% be using this, and I definitely also want to use this on some of my own brides. So I might be getting a second one of these because it's just that beautiful. So let me show you guys. This is what it looks like. Is this not the prettiest palette you've ever seen? Like it has every bridal shade you could possibly need. It's just the prettiest palette ever. I'm obsessed with it. So the first couple shades I'm going to be using on my eye are Union and Applique. I'm basically just gonna mix those two matte browns together, and those are gonna go in my crease. To go in with this shade here, which is Hubby, and it's basically just like a deeper kind of like, I don't know, it's not too warm, it's kind of like a neutrally brown, and I'm just going to start deepening up my crease with this shade. And I am bringing my eyeshadow kind of high up on my eye because I do have, as much as people like to argue me on this, I do have hooded eyelids, as you can see. And I want you to really be able to see my eyeshadow even when I'm not looking down. So I am bringing this up pretty high. gonna switch up my brush and I'm going to use the shade Honeymoon, which is right next to the shade Hubby. This is a really pretty, like, deeper, warm brown. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of that. I definitely want a dramatic eye for my wedding. You best believe I'm gonna be glam on my wedding day. It's my wedding day, and for me, I'm so used to wearing a full face of glam makeup that it's very hard for me to like feel special with a full face of makeup because I'm just so used to it. So I'm just trying to figure out what look I feel my best in and what look I feel my most special in that I would like to wear on my wedding day. Okay, last shade I want to use is this shade here, which is Sweetheart. Is that the shade? Yeah, Sweetheart. And this is just gonna really smoke up this look and make it a little bit more dramatic. This is like a very deep brown, almost black. So I'm just going to focus that on the very outer corner of my eye. You could totally stick with like just browns, but for me, the black just like really amplifies the look and just makes it more smoky and sexy and glam. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with my P. Louise base. I'm going to put some on the back of my hands, and I'm basically going to somewhat cut my crease. I'm not really doing a cut crease. I just want a tacky base for the eyeshadows I'm going to be using. So this part doesn't really have to be super dramatic. I'm just kind of keeping the crease soft. Not necessarily like a half cut crease, but I want a base there so that the shimmers really shimmer. You get what I'm saying? If there's one thing I've learned over the years is that makeup always looks more natural in wedding photography than it does in person. You could have like a soft glam look, but with certain photographers, depending on their style of photography, it could come off really natural. Like if your photographer is a very light and airy photographer, like it's the lighting is very diffused and romantic, your makeup is probably going to look more natural in that type of photography than it does in person. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have a photographer with that style and you want a natural bridal makeup look, it's going to look even more natural in the photos. So just something to keep in mind. Anyways, I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is the shade White Dove. I'm going to focus that on the inner corner because I really want to brighten up my eyes. And then I'm going to be mixing the shades Intimacy and Promise, and those are going to go more on my lid. Just a little bit more, so I'm going to be taking one of my favorite products for my brides. It is the Moon Dust Urban Decay eyeshadow in Space Cowboy. It's basically just, you could see, it's just like, it's basically just a pressed glitter, and I'm just going to use my finger and press this on my lid. I'm just cleaning up the edge of the shadow just to give me a guide for my wing. I am going to be doing a wing, but I actually want it to be a brown wing. So I'm going to go in with the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Nude Pigment. This is a liquid pigment. I am obsessed with these. If you haven't tried the Danessa Myricks Color Fix pigments, you need them. I have a bunch of shades. They're long lasting, they're easy to use, they'll literally last you forever. You can use them for lips, eyes, cheeks, whatever. So I'm gonna apply this and then we'll be back to apply lashes. Okay, so now we're going to apply our fake eyelashes. These are the lashes that I'm going to be using. I get these on Amazon. They are just like the prettiest wispy mink lash. I love these. They have a very thin band, and yeah, so I'm going to apply these, and these like I feel like are just enough drama for me. I don't think I would go with a more dramatic lash than this, just because I don't want it to look like I have caterpillars on my eyes, but at the same time I do want like a pretty dramatic lash, just because I really want my eyes to stand out in the photos. Luckily our photographer took our engagement photos, so I really got to test out makeup that day as well and see what I liked. And I did somewhat of like a natural-ish, not really natural, like I would say soft glam look for our engagement photos, and I did love my makeup that day. However, after seeing the photos, which I'm obsessed with by the way, but after seeing the photos I felt like the makeup was a little too natural for me, in my opinion. So I definitely want to go heavier for the wedding day than I did for the engagement photos. I understand that this makeup is not going to be for everyone. Some brides want like very natural, classic makeup, but that's just not me. And if you're here for a natural bridal look, you're probably not going to get it from me, because that's just not me. And I'm sorry. You know, I'm always going to want full coverage, glam eyes when it comes to my wedding. And no one can change my mind. I'm sorry. Okay, lashes are on. Tell me these aren't like the prettiest lashes ever. Like, I'm so obsessed with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna finish our eyes once our face is almost done. So let's move on to face. Okay, so for me, the skin is kind of where I need to like really take my time, because I know my eyes are gonna be fine. They're gonna last. It's my skin that I get worried about, because I do have somewhat oily skin. I have like combination skin. I don't know, my skin's weird. So I'm testing out foundations that I feel like I would want to use on my wedding day, and foundations that I feel like are going to last. I am an emotional person. I will definitely be crying the day of my wedding. I'm not really a sweater though, so that's good. I don't have to worry about sweating. Really, it's just the oils. So I've been testing out the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. I do like it. It's definitely a great option, but I'm not totally convinced yet. I still might want to use my L'Oreal Fresh Wear. I don't know what it is about this foundation, but it just looks better as the day goes on, and I just feel like it really works with my skin. This also looks really good and it lasts really well. I think because I've been using this for so long that it's my comfort. Like, I just love it. But we're going to go with the Double Wear today. Actually, to prime though, we're going to be using this. I've really been liking this. This is a Wet n Wild primer. It's a 5-in-1 Essence Primer Liquid. And I don't know like exactly what this is like meant to do, but well, it says it's supposed to smooth, condition, refine pores, balance skin, prolong makeup. It definitely, like, I feel like my makeup looks smoother when I use this. I don't know. I don't know if it actually does anything, but we're using it. And then I'm going to go in with my new obsession. This is the Wet n Wild Essence Primer and Finish Powder. It has up to 16-hour wear, and it basically does the same thing as the liquid does. It's a really smoothing, great translucent powder, and I'm actually going to use this on any problem areas that I would get oily. So like right here, we're gonna dust it. Also on the creases of our nose, like in there, down the bridge of my nose, I'm also going to use this because again, I get oily there. In between the brows, you can see it's just instantly taking away the shine. If you've never tried this trick of applying powder, translucent powder, in the center of your face before going in with liquids, try it. It actually works. It mattifies the skin, fills in pores, and really helps the makeup stay. So let's go in with, this is 3W1 Tawny, if you're wondering. lately how I've been liking applying my foundation is I basically like to kind of rub it in with my finger first, and then I go in with a brush or a sponge and blend it in. Actually, that is like a pretty good match, I feel like. And with bridal makeup, I think the key with the face is thin layers. Now that we have our base done, I'm gonna go in and contour. So I'm going to be using creams. I'm going to be using my Graftobian HD cream palettes. And I'm basically, I'm just going to use some of these darker shades. I'm just going to kind of mix them together. And I'm just going to contour my face. I love any sort of like cream foundation for contouring. Yeah, like products like Charlotte Tilbury are good, like the contouring one, but those are not going to add any coverage. They're just going to add color. So for brides, I like to add like an actual cream foundation because I feel like it's just that little extra glam step that makes all the difference. Okay, so to conceal, we're just using a little bit of Too Faced Almond. When it comes to concealers, don't play around. Stick with what you know for your wedding. I know the Too Faced Born This Way concealer is an amazing concealer, so I'm going to use that. But I'm also going to use an e.l.f. concealer because I've been loving it and it actually lasts so well. The Camo concealer, I started using that again and I just feel like it really does like last. So I'm going to be using the Camo concealer in Light Sand, and I'm going to kind of keep this like right there. I'm actually going to take what's left on my brush and highlight the center of my forehead. So what I've been liking with highlighting and contouring is I like to go in with a brush first, specifically for the concealer. For the contour, I'll just blend that out with a brush, but for the concealer, I like to go in with this flat little brush first. And I'll blend it out with a sponge. And yes, I'm aware this contour is dark, but again, I'm going to be really tan for my wedding. So not really tan, but I'm going to be tanner. This is very normal for me. In the summer, I get very dark. Like, I get very dark in the summer. But, yeah, my mom will definitely be spraying me for my wedding. So for cream blush, I'm using the popular Legally Pink blush. This is the Cheek of It blush by P. Louise. It is like literally Pepto-Bismol pink and I'm obsessed. And I'm also going to use a little bit of xoxo Spice. This is a really pretty, like, deeper, I don't even know. The shade is, it's different. I'm only using a little bit because we're going to go in with a lot of powder blush. But I definitely always like to have, like, a base for my powders. Like a cream base for my powders. Okay, so now it's time to set. This is like one of the most crucial parts to bridal makeup, in my opinion, because if you do not set your face properly, the makeup is not going to last. It's going to settle into lines, pores, all that, which it's gonna do regardless, but setting helps so much. So I like to go in with a pressed powder first. So I'm using the Wet n Wild powder. And this is going to set. Then we're going to bake, which is going to help the makeup really last and just give us that like really smooth application. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the Huda Sugar Cookie powder. I love this powder. I feel like this is the loose powder I would use on my wedding day, but I'm kind of like wanting to try another loose powder. I don't know. Let me know your favorites. So I'm just gonna bake with this, like I said. And I'm gonna snatch the sides of the nose. And then I just kind of take what's left on the powder puff and I basically just press it into the rest of my face. This is going to give you like the most flawless, like baby smooth face. It's really gonna set everything in place too. And then I also like, again, you guys, I'm oily, so my skin personally can handle this. If you are not oily, don't go in with all of these powders, but you could, well, you can, but I would just do them like less powder. I'm also going to take this 24-hour super stay powder, and I'm going to set my face with this as well. Just like literally when I tell you the tiniest amount, like I mean the tiniest amount. Let's go in and bronze the skin. I'm going to use a mixture of these two bronzers. This is a palette by Kimchi Chic. This is what it looks like. I think it was a collaboration. I love this palette. The blush, that pink blush, so is the peach one, but the pink blush is literally so stunning. So I'm going to bronze my face. I'm not going to apply a ton of bronzer since we already went really heavy with the cream contour. But I do want to add just a little bit because it will fade throughout the day, you know? Okay, so now we're going to dust away the bake. This is a really great trick that I've learned from some celebrity makeup artists. And basically you want to take like a pressed powder, a little bit on your brush. You don't need a lot. Or a brightening powder, any sort of powder like that. And you're going to get some on your brush while you're dusting away your bake. Something about this technique just like makes your under eye look so smooth and so flawless. I am using MAC Studio Fix powder in NC15 for this trick, and it will literally give you the most gorgeous under eye ever. I'm just saying. Now I'm going to take my blush and I'm going to apply a hefty amount of that because blush is one of the first things to fade, and I'm using that really bright pink shade, and I'm kind of bringing it underneath my eye. And one of my little tricks is taking the MAC powder, mixing it with the pink blush, and just kind of transitioning the blush to the under eye area. Okay, so I went ahead and I did this under eye. So I'm going to show you what I did. I took MAC Costa Riche. This is like a deep chocolatey brown eyeliner. And I love this eyeliner because I feel like it really makes my brown eyes pop. My eyes like can be like hazel at times in certain sunlight. So I just want to bring that out, and I feel like brown definitely does that versus black. Then I'm going to take a little flat brush with some leftover brown eyeshadow on it, and I'm just smudging out that liner. And then we're going to take the bronzers that I use on my face, and we're going to smoke out the lower lash line with the brown. Okay, I want to show you guys how you can take your look from like, oh, that's a pretty glam look, to like snatched, okay? This will make you look like those filters on Instagram, and this is like a little secret. So I take my e.l.f. powder, really any bright face powder. This is the e.l.f. Camo Foundation Powder in Fair 120N. It is like really bright. This one unfortunately broke. It's like in a million pieces. So I take a little on my brush. I take like a little eyeshadow brush like this, and I basically just apply this on the inner corner of my eye, like where like an inner corner highlight would go, and I kind of bring it underneath my eye, like keeping it in this very inner part. But this just makes the under eye look so much brighter. And I don't know, it just to me makes like a huge difference. And then I'll even take some like on the outer corner too. But do you see that? I don't know, I see a difference. So I'm just going to do it on this other eye. I've even been doing this on clients lately, and I just feel like, I don't know, it's subtle, but like It just makes the under eye look so bright. And then I'm going to take highlighter and just bring it down the bridge of my nose. I'm going to add the pink highlight from the Dior, and I'm going to kind of keep that on like the apples of my cheeks. I don't know if I'm really feeling like a really beaming highlight today. I don't know what I'm going to do on my wedding day, like if I'm going to want that or not. I kind of just go with what I'm feeling on the day. I don't always apply highlighter here. I just kind of want a little bit of a shimmer right on the apples. I have to use my MAC Cork. I'm sure I'm going to use this on my wedding day because this is one of my go-to lip liners. And, oh no. I am going to overline a little bit. Okay, went ahead, lined my lips, and now we're going to be using this lip color. This is the MAC Kiss Ink Locked Kiss Ink lipstick. This is a new line for them. It's a 24-hour lip color. I want obviously a long-lasting lip color, and I was thinking of wearing a matte lip down the aisle and then adding a gloss after just because of the kissing. But I really have been loving this shade. It's a really pretty bridal shade. Right now it's kind of like a dark pinky nude on me, but once I'm tan it won't look so dark. It's a very thin formula and very comfortable. I think it's so pretty. I do want to add a gloss for the sake of the video, so I'm going to be using MAC Oyster Girl because I do want to lighten it up a little bit. This is like the prettiest gloss, MAC Oyster Girl. If you don't have it, you need it. It's so pretty. All right, you guys, so this is the look. Let me take down my little clips here. My hair is going to be up for my wedding, like a high updo. Not low, it's going to be high and big, and I actually do my hair trial on Monday, which I'm going to be doing another makeup trial that day as well. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this is the look. I like it. I think it's really pretty. It's glam. I feel comfortable in it. I feel confident in it. This is very me, this look. But I don't know which one I'm gonna end up going with. You guys will get to vote once I come up with all my looks. I'll definitely let you guys help me decide, but so far this definitely is a great option for a more glam bride like myself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.